well, your illustrious career you've had. One of the first sort of parts that got you going, which I always really enjoyed, was being in the Monkeys as the monster,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Well, I wasn't a monkey, but I was a teenage monster. They turned into many things. Rock and roll singer for one, which was really a lot of fun. You know, I had the paisley shirt and the granny glasses and the wig and playing the guitar.
Didn't you have to sing the song?
I sang the song, yeah.
Yeah, how did it go?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Here we go, walking down the street. The funniest feeling with everyone you meet. We're the Monkeys. But
Brilliant.
they turned me also into a hippie. And, you know, Dick.
Yeah.
Cool, huh?
Cool, man.
And,
Love and peace.
And they turned me into a very overtly gay interior decorator. Which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The most common question asked by an interviewer is, how did you break into the movies? Because I think a lot of journalists, people in that profession, really wanted to do that themselves.
Yeah.
And they couldn't quite make it. And then they wanted to know, how did you do it? And I used to say, I just broke right in. You know? But, you know, I realized that wasn't really fair. Because, you know, there aren't too many people that break in through luck. And my father's favorite motto, and I learned a lot from my dad, was the harder I work, the luckier I get. And my mother had an English background. She had one of these old English sayings that she liked to use, and it was, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride.
That's a good one.
You know, so I mean, you can't sit in your apartment wishing and hoping
The phone's gonna ring.
that you're gonna get a role. You've got to get out there
Yeah.
and hustle. And I got a list of agents from the Screen Actors Guild, and there were about 50 of them on the list. It went from A to Z. And I ended up with an agent named Herman Zimmerman. And when I went to the Screen Actors Guild, they didn't want to take my money.
All right.
They said, well, you know, you don't have to join. You don't have to pay. We have what we call the Taft-Hartley Act, which allows you to work for 30 days without joining the union. And we really would suggest that you not join and keep your money, because this might just be a fluke. I said, no, here, take my money. Yeah, because I knew I was going to be an actor. And Cubby Broccoli, the producer, was very open to suggestions. And Bob Simmons, the stunt coordinator, said, Cubby, have you thought about maybe not killing Jaws off? And Cubby said, well, we always kill the villain. And he said, yeah, but wouldn't it have been nice to have been able to bring Oddjob back? And Cubby said, well, you know, Jaws gets thrown in a tank with a shark. Now, what do you suggest? And Bob said, he kills the shark. And then Bob said, why don't you shoot it both ways? So you'll have an alternate ending, and you'll have a choice. And I went to see The Spy Loved Me, wondering whether I live or die. And the scene at the very end of the movie, where the underwater thing is all blowing up, and Anya and Bond are trying to escape, went on and on and on and on, kind of like I'm doing right now. And I thought, well, surely I'm dead by now, you know. And they're finally escaping, and suddenly they show the surface of the ocean, and Jaws pops out of the water and starts swimming to shore. And the audience screamed and applauded and shouted and clapped.
I did that when I went and saw it, yeah.
And I was shocked.
Unkillable.
You know, and all throughout the movie, all of Roger's little ad-libs and jokes and my acting, they were, when it was funny and stuff, the audience loved it. And so that was a great moment in my life. Did I really skydive?
Yeah.
No. I suffered from acrophobia, vertigo, fear of heights, and I don't even like being this tall. But you know, again, the English are so clever at how they made it look like I really jumped out of an airplane. And I'll tell you how they did that. In America, we would have had a fan blowing very hard against you. They had all that, but they also had a high pressure hose, about a big one, and they blew high pressure air, and they almost blew your eyeballs out with it. And it made it look like when the door of the plane was open and you're standing there, it made it look like you're really up, 10,000 feet about to jump out of an airplane. And we were about 7 feet off the ground. There were boxes down there to jump on. That's how that worked. When I got to Paris to start filming Moonraker, I hadn't seen a script. I hadn't signed a contract. And I looked up my buddy Bob Simmons, the stunt coordinator. I said, "Can I look at the script?" And he gave me the script. And John's girlfriend was a 6-foot statuesque, beautiful young lady. And I thought, well, it's great. And then when I arrived at the office and the studio the next day, they said, "Richard, boy, do we have a surprise for you." And I'm thinking, what do I wonder this could be? We found this woman who's 7'7". Yeah, that's what I thought. And it's not really funny, it's sad. I mean, it was like, I'm sorry, but I can't imagine a 7'7" woman. To me, and in the script, the motivation for Jaws turning into a good guy was to save his girlfriend who wore glasses because she didn't fit into Drax's perfect society. And neither did Jaws. Jaws realized that this guy was really evil. Well, a 7'7" woman doesn't need anybody to help her. And I say, guys, it doesn't work for me, I'm sorry. What do you want, a Bond girl? And I said, well, yeah, that'd be nice. But how about a short woman, I said. And they said, how short? I said, well, she should be at least 5 feet tall. And they said, 5 feet tall? My God, are the audience going to believe this? And I said, well, my wife is not quite 5'1". We have 2 children, 1 on the way. I mean, it works. And, they have to believe it. And they were very, very miffed. They were very angry at me, everybody. And because I wouldn't do this thing with a 7'7" woman. Until they saw the footage of a little gal, blonde traveler as Dolly, with the Romeo and Juliet music and the light shining off her Jaws teeth. And she smiles and he smiles back. And the producer, Cubby Broccoli, a big man, was with a journalist. And we all walked out of the screening room together, and loud enough to where I could hear him, said very loudly, Richard and I had a falling out about that scene you just saw, and I must say, Richard was absolutely right. That's the kind of guy that Cubby Broccoli was. He appreciated the ultimate input because it worked, and it was very charming. The Humanoid, it's a fun movie. I played a space sailor who had a robot dog named Kip. And I was like a good guy. And it was being victimized by the evil people. One of the evil people was Barbara Bach. And Corinne Clary was one of the good girls. And in fact, I got to hug Corinne Clary a little bit of, tiny bit of romance. I told my wife, I said, hey, I've been in the movie business now for 30 years. I only get to hug the girl. By the time I get to do anything more, I'll be too old. Don't worry.
Let's have a big hand for Richard Kiel, everybody.